Hey guys, Rich from GunTortureTests.com. So, you may remember back in previous videos where I've described the operation of certain guns, where I've described the high point as being blowback operated, and for instance the Sky CPX2 as being recoil operated. Well, as time has gone on, I've gotten private messages and emails and stuff like that, and some comments on the videos saying something along the lines of, well, aren't all guns blowback? That's not the case, and so I'm going to give you just basically a real short and easy description of the difference between the two. So this is a high point with the slide removed, okay? Now you'll notice that the barrel is right there. The barrel is fixed to the frame. This is the hallmark of a blowback pistol, okay? Generally speaking, blowback operation is reserved for .380 caliber and below, but High Point uses blowback operation in all their calibers: .380, 9, 40 S&W, and 45 ACP. And there's some other large caliber pistols that are also blowback operated. The basic premise of blowback operation, and I know I've described this before, but I'm going to do it again, is that when you fire a round, okay, just imagine that the slide is on the gun. When you fire a round, the slide stays locked in position, okay? Now, what moves the slide is going to be the force of the explosion that you create when you fire that round. One of the reasons blowback operated pistols are generally heavier than others, like if you remember, the High Point C9 weighs 29 ounces empty, is the slide has to be heavy so that it can stay locked in place long enough for the projectile to exit the barrel before the slide starts its travel. So, squeeze the trigger, goes bang, a split second goes by, bullet exits barrel, and then the slide, okay, just does its job. It goes back. The barrel never moves, okay? In the case of the High Point, it is securely attached to the frame via a very large pin and a smaller pin, okay? And this pin's kind of a pain in the ass to get out, so when I say securely, I kind of mean it. So the slide moves back, and it goes back as far as the recoil spring will allow it to. Once that recoil spring reaches its maximum compression, okay, it starts its forward momentum back, okay? So it goes back to about there in the case of the High Point. Once the recoil spring is at its maximum compression, it goes back in the battery, in the process stripping a new round off the magazine, loading it in the chamber, and you're ready to go. The barrel never moves, okay? That's the hallmark of a blowback operated gun. The Ruger MK series guns, the Mark IIs, the Mark IIIs, those are blowback operated. Those are rimfire, and blowback operation is very popular for rimfire. One of the cool things about the MK series and guns like the Browning Buckmark and the Smith & Wesson 22As, the target pistols, is the barrel, as long as it is, in some cases 5, 6, 8, 10 inches, okay, is one part of the gun, okay? And just the very back half of the slide moves, okay? Now, that's one of the reasons that blowback operated guns tend to be a little bit more finicky on their ammo. If you have too powerful of ammunition, it's going to overcome the weight of the slide, and it's going to start cycling faster, and it's going to get basically out of time, like a distributor on a car. When cars had distributors, getting slightly out of adjustment, okay, it would screw up the timing, and things would not be good. Or conversely, a round that's not powerful enough to start that cycle, okay? So that's one of the reasons blowback pistols are generally more finicky on ammo. Next, we're going to talk about recoil operated pistols, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, now let's talk about recoil operation. By and large, centerfire pistols, basically 9mm and larger in caliber, that world is dominated by what's called short recoil operation. There's several different kinds of, and there's also several different kinds of blowback operation. The high point's what's called direct blowback, okay? But for the sake of simplicity, I'm only talking about direct blowback in the case of the high point and short recoil operation in the case of centerfire handguns. But by and large, centerfire handguns are larger than .380 caliber are going to be short recoil operation. Now this is the barrel to a 1911, and you'll notice right here on the top these are what's called locking lugs, okay? You'll also notice inside the slide, machined into the slide, are slots that match the locking lugs on the barrel. The way a recoil operation gun works is basically, we're talking about, what is it, Newton's third law. Every action has an equal yet opposite reaction. So, the gun is operated by the force of the bullet, but not in the same way that a blowback gun is. Because what happens is, in the case of the 1911, when this gun is set in battery, okay, so let's just pretend there's a frame underneath there, okay, and this is in battery, okay, you cannot move this barrel. The barrel won't go anywhere. It's locked in. Those locking lugs are in their corresponding slots in the top of the slide. So what happens? Well, you see this little ear right here? If you have a 1911, you'll recognize that. That's where the takedown pin goes through, okay? And that's also the slide lock, and you know, that's what basically holds the slide and barrel and everything else to the frame. So what happens is, when you fire the gun, okay, in a recoil operated gun, the barrel and the slide will travel backwards together, okay, almost blowback, almost, okay, until the barrel reaches the limits of its travel, and that's dictated by this little ear here, okay. So when that barrel reaches the limits of its travel, okay, in the case of the 1911s, when it reaches the limits of its travel, it will be all the way up. What that does is it causes the barrel to unlock from the slide, okay? So now the slide continues. In the same way that with a blowback gun, you have the guide rod here and the spring, and once it reaches the maximum compression on that spring, again, Newton's third law, it's going to start its way back, and it will come back until the barrel locks in, and it's back in battery, and you're ready to fire again. Okay, so without the slide, just to kind of illustrate maybe a little better, pretend there's a slide here, okay? You fire the gun, the barrel and the slide move back together just a little bit. The barrel starts to tilt, which unlocks it from the slide. The slide continues its journey backwards until it reaches the maximum compression on the recoil spring, okay, causing it to start coming back forwards. And as it comes back forwards, it picks up the locking lugs again, locks into battery, and you're good to go. The vast majority of modern handguns are going to be short recoil operated, okay? That's just the way it is. There are some exceptions. Obviously the high points. Oh yeah, the 5.7. That's what is that? That's not direct blowback. That's well, the FN 5.7 isn't. It's not recoil operated. It's a version of blowback. With like long recoil operation, that's basically dominated by shotguns, semi-automatic shotguns, okay? So that's really it, guys. You know, it's a pretty simple distinction. I understand why there's some confusion, so that's why I'm doing this video. I'm going to come back here in a minute, and we're going to talk about something that I want to get off my chest. I'll be back. All right, so now we've covered blowback versus recoil. There's a little bit of time left. There's not enough. What I want to talk about doesn't justify a video by itself, so I'm just going to kind of tack it on to the end of this video. I want to talk for a second about a gentleman called Tex Grevner. Perhaps you've heard of him. He's like myself, he's kind of a minor YouTube celebrity, and a while back Tex had a negligent discharge with a 1911 that he was drawing from retention. He shot himself in the leg. He got it all on video, and getting shot sucks. There's no doubt about it. Getting shot and it's your own fault sucks even worse. But I give the man credit for doing that video and for not blaming the holster and for not blaming the gun, for placing the blame squarely where it belonged, which is on the operator. Those of us who carry 1911s regularly already know that that holster that Tex was using, the Black Hawk Serpa, is bad for 1911s. Okay, there's just too many problems that can arise. Tex learned that lesson the hard way. They're fine for stuff like Glocks and stuff like that, but for 1911s, it's no good. So Tex, props to you for that. Okay. Now, before you guys ask, I'm not linking the man's video. Okay, I'm not going to do it. You can look him up. Now, here's my problem. Tex, you went on Tosh.0. What the hell were you thinking? I mean, seriously, what were you thinking? I can't get mad at Tosh because Tosh was doing what Tosh does. And for those of you who don't know, Tosh does this thing called the Web Redemption, where every episode he has a video that he picks special from the internet, and he brings the people out who were in that video out to LA or wherever it is he is, and he basically spends 5 minutes making fun of them. Tex, why? I mean, was your 15 minutes of fame not enough? Did they pay you? You didn't do us any favors, dude. You made us all look like idiots. Every single one of us. I can't get mad at Tosh, even though a lot of people on the internet, will say, I can't believe Tosh did this. That's just what Tosh does. He makes fun of people. Okay? And sometimes it's funny. But Tex, really? You're out there looking like a low-rent Larry the Cable Guy. Okay? And did they pay you? Did they pay you good? I hope so, dude, because you look like an asshole. I know you're never going to see this. Well, somebody will probably forward this video to you. But seriously, brother, you look like an asshole. Okay? And you made all of us look bad, and you lost a lot of credibility with a lot of us. So, take that into consideration. Take it for what it's worth. Don't be mad at Tosh. Be mad at Tex. Okay? See you guys next week. Until then, check out my Cafe Press store, subscribe, blah, 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 all that crap. Rich from GunTortureTests.com.